There you go with Wasting Time by JP2. So the 3 songs that you have that I'm going to play, you're a recent solo artist, right?
Yes.
Okay, so do you plan on kind of staying a solo artist if you can't find another group to play with, or you?
Well, being a solo artist is definitely the priority. I know for a fact that this year I will be branching out and doing other things. I have a couple other plans, but I am not ready to announce those yet. But they will be, and I'm going to let you know about them as soon as they're ready. There's some fun stuff down the pipeline. But yes, being a solo artist is definitely the main priority. All these songs are originals. All of the stuff is original material. I have stuff that I have written, like that I have from when I used to be in bands, when I used to be in Running Blind and Over the Radar. But it's not even like just out of respect for the guys that I used to be in the band with or anything like that. It's just, it all that material belongs to that era, and I just want to focus on something new, and I want this to be about me,
Right?
And like I was saying earlier, like if I'm doing this, I don't want to put a limit or a label on what it is, and I don't want the music to sound like if I was still in the band. I want it to be whatever I decide it to be. If I want the song to sound like Wasting Time, which doesn't sound like anything else that I've done before, that's fine.
I thought you were gonna. I was gonna let everyone know. I'm going to go ahead and expose your next project. He's gonna do a lot of ventriloquist work, and it's gonna be a lot of dummies, and they're all gonna sing, and they're all gonna play instruments, and it's all gonna be wind instruments on top of that. So it's gonna be incredible.
Dang it! See,
now that's experimental.
I tell you any this is the last time I'm telling you my secrets. Man.
I know that's right.
So as a solo artist, when you plan on playing concerts, are you just going to hire the drummer and the bass player? Because I'm assuming you play guitar and sing, right?
So, like on the recordings that I have on right now, I'm literally doing everything except, obviously on Wasting Time that April is doing the guest vocals. But everything else that you hear on those songs, every instrument is myself, and then the programming of the drums and the synths and all that is also me. I haven't performed this music live. I don't have a repertoire yet that I can go and perform a full show. And it's just not something that at the moment, especially now with COVID, it's just not even in the realm of possibility that I can go out there and just put on a show or anything like that. If the opportunity presented itself that I could go and perform, then I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, I guess.
Just do that one-man band thing. Put the cymbals between the legs. And have that.
No, have you seen?
Yeah, the kick drum. Hey, those guys are amazingly talented.
Have you seen that guy that's called That One Guy?
I think so.
Look him up. It's called That One Guy. I saw him at the Social in Orlando once, and I mean, it's once you see him play one song, it's like the whole show is the same thing. But it's just impressive that he's just there, and he has this made-up instrument that it's like a guitar-based drum thing, and he's stepping on pedals and playing this thing and blowing on something and singing. And it's like he is a full band.
Yeah, I've seen that.
He really is a full band.
It's going to be really hard to do that when you're doing your solo wind instrument project.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not that talented.
I like the guy that, when he squeezes his butt cheeks, that's where the cymbals are. And then he
is that what Sebastian was doing?
That's what I was doing. Oh. That's what I do.
Yeah, well, that's a sex tape. We're not releasing that again. We're gonna leave it. We gotta hype it up. We're putting a lot of money into it.
Right.
All 50 cents for advertising for Google Ads. So we get
one ad,
one click. That's all.
That's all we need, because then it's gonna get leaked everywhere, and it's really gonna grow the podcast, I think.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna lose listeners.
Yeah, they're gonna unfollow and unlike. So that's why.
Oh my god!
So
this is gonna be the last podcast ever, I guess.
Yeah, well, we're hyping it up still, so we're not releasing it yet. We're gonna do a few more podcasts.
Oh wait, you know what? I am forgetting something, Sebastian. You have to deny it the whole entire time, like Kardashian, even though you're the one that leaked it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll deny leaking it.
Blame me. Like we'll get into like a war or something.
Yeah,
like
we'll blame JP2
I'll
and
curse at you in
Javier.
Spanish, and you won't understand
I
what
won't
I'm saying.
understand.
Yeah. And then instead of Ray J, it's my face behind him.
Sorry, Javier. Welcome to the loud spot.
Sorry, Kim Kardashian and Ray J.
When did you come? So you moved from Puerto Rico to the United States at 23 years old, right?
Yes. 2000. The year 2000. Yes.
Okay. And what made you decide to make the move?
Music, actually, yeah. I've always been involved with music, and as soon as I graduated high school, I was going to college, and I was trying to get into the music scene in Puerto Rico, and I just wasn't getting anything done with it. It was just cover bands. It wasn't something that I was interested in doing. It's never been something that I've been interested in doing. Like I as much as I enjoy, singing somebody else's song, it's not something that I want to do for a living. Right. I'd rather do my own stuff. And just one day, I just woke up and said, "I'm out," and I left.
Yeah, my uncle moves back and forth. Not only does he move everywhere in the United States, but he also moves back and forth from Puerto Rico to like New York City, then to California, then somewhere else, then back to Puerto Rico.
Hey, that's the life.
Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. So.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yep.
People don't know that.
No, they think it's a whole entire different country, and it's like, no, they're a part of.
Yeah.
They're a part of America, except they don't get all the benefits of the American culture as far as like.
We just get screwed the same.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Dude, that hurricane there was pretty bad. How was it a couple years ago?
Yeah. Fully, none of my direct family was affected during the hurricane. It was pretty surreal though, because you couldn't get a hold of anyone. Like the day after the hurricane, I got a call from my best friend Walter, and he sounded frightened, and he said it's like, this is the worst thing I've ever experienced. And he said, and I remember the words where he says, "Can you please put something on Facebook to let my mom know that I'm alive?" Because he lived in this corner of the island, and his mom lived in this corner of the island, and they couldn't get to each other. They couldn't communicate either. And then the call dropped. I couldn't get a hold of him after that. So it was pretty crazy, and probably took 2 weeks to get a hold of my parents. It was surreal.
That's scary. I want to ask though, when I think of Puerto Rico, I don't think of the name Walter. Like I think of Javier, some other Spanish names. Walter's not one that I would think sounds very Puerto Rican. What's his last? Well, never mind. Don't say his last name. Don't tell me his last name.
Morsiglio.
Okay, Walter.
Which doesn't even sound Puerto Rican either. Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
What does that sound like? Kind of,
I don't know, man. But that's been like my brother, man. I've known that guy since 7th grade. I remember we're 7th grade or 8th grade. He found out that I knew how to play guitar. He's like, "Oh, teach me how to play guitar." It's like, "Oh, cool." And he's probably now a gazillion times way more successful than I am with music. It's great. I love him to death. He's like my brother. I love him.
How long have you been playing guitar for?
As long as I can remember. I don't remember not playing guitar. I do not. I can't go back to a moment where I was not playing guitar, even if it was just having it on my lap and trying.
Strumming, yeah.
Yeah. There's not a moment that image is not in my mind.
I think music and Puerto Ricans, I grew up in both my parents are Puerto Rican. My that's his first language is Spanish, but music is, my dad plays the congas, and music has always been a big part of our life growing up. All my grandparents were musicians. And so naturally, of course, I'm the black sheep that has to go into rock and roll. My dad did say, "What kind?" And the two girls that there's two girls that work for me. They're both Puerto Rican. They go, "What kind of Puerto Rican are you, man?" Because I listen to rock and roll. There's no rock and roll Puerto Ricans. I'm like, yes, there are. There's a lot of us out there. You just got to find us,
This whole thing is reminding me of Dave Chappelle's John with the skit with John Mayer, and he's got the what each culture likes and stuff like that. So the Hispanic and Latino, they like the drum and bass and salsa. And then, white people like electric guitar and fight, like, play the fight riff! And they're all like...
Dude, the way I was raised was like, you're supposed to like this thing, and this thing. I remember going to San Francisco, driving by some punk rockers, like some gutter punks, and my mom would be like, good thing my kid's not going to be like that. Surprise!
And you're like, oh, if you only knew.
Look at me now, Mom. Look at me now.
I had like long. I mean, I'm bald now, but I had long hair, like below my shoulders, like right out of high school. Like the first thing I did as soon as I got out of high school, like because I was going to Catholic school, grew my hair, and like I was like the one kid in the family that did that. And it was different. Like
I know the feeling.
It was a very close circle when it came to the rock music. It's kind of cool and kind of weird because like to this day, I'm still friends or at least still in communication with a lot of the people that I was involved with musically back when I was 18 or 19 because of that. Because we only knew each other like. You really didn't know anybody else if you were into the music scene. So
right.
So that was cool, being in such a small island.
I just grew up white trailer trash and organized. That's how I grew up. White trailer trash, and I organized the mixer and the kegger, and that's it. So that's the reason why.
That's an important role, though.
I think that's the reason why I'm still stuck today, and I never wanted to be the artist or the musician. I wanted to be the guy that organized the party.
There you go. See, there is a good heavy rock band called Puya. I think they're from Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah. Yes,
they're pretty good. They have most of their songs are in Spanish, I think, and I like the music. I don't know what the hell the guy's saying, but I like it.
I can tell you, I got a friend over there. He organizes events. Hector, I think his name is. I'd have to look. He's in heavy shit band. If you want to listen to stuff like that, and rock and punk and stuff like that, so it's popular. The shows get about 200 kids average.
Wow, that's pretty good. I do want to play, because we are talking a lot, which I love talking. We might as well just have a talking podcast eventually. But I do want to play Walk Alone. Do you have any songs in Spanish, or are they all in English?
Up until now, everything's been in English.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe one of them will be in Spanish eventually.